Jane.
Yeah.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
iPad.
iPad who?
I paid £400 for this thing. Can you believe it? No?
Hi, and welcome once again aboard HMS Start Select, the gleaming flagship of GameSpot UK's naval fleet of video game shows.
This week, do we have a handheld gaming special for you? Yes, we do. In the wake of the 3DS launch, we'll be running down our reviews for all the launch titles for Nintendo's new handheld console, so you'll know which to fork out for if you've picked up one or are about to do so.
Then Mark, who's been spending some quality time with the iPad 2, which also launched last week, is ready to recommend the first 5 apps you should be hitting up on the App Store.
We've also got your feedback, new releases to be keeping an eye out for, and in the competition, a chance to come and join us at a special BAFTA event, wherein our own Guy Cocker talks to Res creator Tetsuya Mesuguchi about his upcoming shooter, Child of Eden.
Neat. Okay, let's go. We were at last week's midnight launch for the Nintendo 3DS, and how? But now launch fever has died down and you've played Street Pass Quest to death, as well as whatever bundle game you picked up on day one, or possibly you're still undecided about whether it's worth shelling out for at all. We've rounded up GameSpot's reviews of the 3DS launch games, which are rushed 3D cash-ins and which are worth your precious time. Let's find out. The 3DS has barely been in the shops a week. Though it's early days, with Nintendo yet to call it on how record-breaking or otherwise the sales figures are in the UK, Nintendo in the US says day one sales beat those of any handheld system in its history. The glasses-free portable console arrived with a big batch of launch titles, including first-party Nintendo efforts such as Pilotwings Resort and Nintendogs and Cats, and third-party games such as Konami's PES 2011 and Sega Super Monkey Ball 3D. Only 3 3DS exclusive games made the UK top 10 though. The highest placing was Super Street Fighter 4 3D at number 4, which chimes with what we heard from the fans queuing at the midnight London launch. This was the game they literally couldn't wait till morning to play.
What, Street Fighter same as well? Street Fighter.
More than that, they were mostly pumped for the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake and the 3D Super Mario game promised as future 3DS releases. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. For reviews of the actual already here 3DS games you can buy right now, GameSpot's got you covered. Here are the 5 best reviewed 3DS launch games on the site at the moment. Does this place look familiar? Maybe you know it well. It's Woohoo Island of Wii Sports Resort fame, and now it's home to Pilotwings Resort, a 3D addition to Nintendo's multi-aircraft flight sim. Among the 3DS launch titles, Pilotwings Resort has the 5th highest scoring 3DS review on the site right now, a respectable 6.5 for its intuitive controls, crisp 3D and nicely judged difficulty curve. It loses marks for too little variety in the vehicles and missions and its, hey, where's the rest of my game, shortness. You could conceivably beat every mission in under 2 hours if you're handy with a rocket belt. At number 4 we have PES 2011 3D, a stereoscopic debut for Konami's football franchise. It scores a 7 for great controls and gameplay, a deep Master League mode, and well-presented Champions League mode. It misses out on top marks for its lack of online features and variety in single-player modes, and for some mundane commentary. Still, though there's much that could be improved, fans of the series will get a kick out of this 3DS installment. Nintendogs and Cats lands in 3rd place among GameSpot's 3DS launch reviews. For its adorable critters, charming training and pet care activities, and good use of the 3DS's Street Pass functionality and in-belt pedometer, it bags a 7.5 score. On the other hand, it'll be a while before you've earned the cash to buy a cat, and once you get it, there's not so much to do with it, just like in real life. Anyhow, though it might not quite win the Best in Show, Nintendogs and Cats might just win your heart. Aww. In at number 2 is Ghost Recon Shadow Wars, a deep, turn-based tactical RPG with rich environments and diverse abilities. It gets an 8.0 for its strategic challenge, sizable campaign, and excellent use of the 3DS's dual screens. It's only slightly let down by a dull story and flat characters.
I'm ready for you. Bring it on!
Which leaves the 3DS launch queue favourite Super Street Fighter 4 3D edition to take the top spot. It's the highest scoring 3DS title on the site so far, picking up an 8.5. GameSpot reviewer, our own Mark Walton, lauds the accessible touchscreen controls, characteristically fantastic art, rich multiplayer options, and neat Street Pass figurine collecting. The letdowns? The absence of both online leaderboards and tournament mode. So, if it's just the 5 launch games you're picking up with your brand new 3DS bundle, Pilotwings Resort, PES 2011 3D, Nintendogs and Cats, Ghost Recon Shadow Wars, and Super Street Fighter 4 3D are your best bet, which should tide you over for a bit, if not until we're queuing up for Super Mario 3D. For more 3DS reviews and all the rest on the Nintendo 3DS, head to gamespot.com/3DS.
The 3DS may have caused many a gamer to uphold Britain's long-standing tradition of queuing, but it wasn't the only piece of new sexy hardware to gather a crowd last week. Apple's iPad 2 has hit UK shores with a bang, bringing with it a new dual-core processor, 9 times the graphics processing power, and cameras that you can use to make Seb's face look even sexier than usual. So for all you new iPad owners out there, we've braved the depths of the App Store to bring you our 5 favourite games. So, you've taken the plunge and handed over your life savings for an iPad 2. The question is, what do you do now? Well, you buy some games, of course. We've rounded up 5 of our favourite titles from the App Store, so you'll have plenty to keep you occupied on your morning commute. If you're eager to show off the technical prowess of your shiny new iPad 2, Nova 2 is the game to go for. Featuring crisp visuals and a Halo-esque sci-fi theme, Nova 2 is an intense first-person shooter. It makes use of the iPad 2's gyroscope, allowing you to navigate and aim by moving the device around. If that's not your thing, more conventional on-screen controls are available, and you can also take the fight to others with up to 9 players online across 5 different modes. Nova 2 is available on the App Store for £3.99. If you're after something a little more sedate, Jenga is a touchscreen-powered remake of the classic wooden party game. Each player takes turns removing blocks from a tall tower by dragging their finger across the screen, placing the blocks on top afterwards. Steady hands are required. If you pull too quickly, the tower comes tumbling down. You can also make use of the iPad 2's gyroscope to rotate around the board, and best of all, there's no cleanup required. All yours for 59p. No app list would be complete without some Angry Birds. While little has changed from previous versions, you're rescuing birds, not destroying pigs, the gameplay is addictive as ever. With 60 levels, new achievements and hidden fruit to discover, there's plenty of content to explore, and more updates are promised throughout 2011, all for the princely sum of £1.79. iOS devices are famous for their range of physics-based puzzlers, with the latest addition being the painfully cute Lander Panda. The aim is to get your panda back to his lonely panda girlfriend while collecting coins and traversing obstacles such as spikes and steel blocks. You launch your panda into the air using cannons, with precise, timely tapping required to make it to the end of the level. The Japanese-style visuals are utterly charming, with a great soundtrack and adorable sound effects just adding to the fun. You can start launching your own pandas for £1.19. Combining elements from classic adventure games such as Zelda, Ico and Prince of Persia with 8-bit visuals and a killer soundtrack, Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP is one of the most unique and engrossing games on the iPad. It's part interactive art piece and part 8-bit adventuring, taking advantage of the unique features of the iPad platform. You play as a wandering warrior monk who's traversing a mythical realm. As you make your way through lush 8-bit forests and up rocky mountain roads, you solve a number of musical mysteries and encounter off-the-wall characters, each with their own unique take on the world you're exploring. What makes the game so appealing is how it taps into your childlike curiosity, encouraging you to poke, stroke and rotate the screen to unlock the secrets of the realm. You're never told what to do or held by the hand during puzzles, and are instead invited to experiment with the touchscreen, listen to the soothing music and relax. If you get stuck, Twitter is fully integrated, allowing you to tweet lines of the brilliantly written tongue-in-cheek dialogue to the world. Also great are the stylish 8-bit visuals. While they might not take full advantage of the iPad 2's new speedy GPU, they're absolutely charming. Without all manner of high-tech wizardry, there's, shock horror, more room to use your imagination, making the game world uniquely your own. Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP is available on the App Store for £2.99. Let's say you've completed every worthwhile release of 2011 so far. You've got money in your pocket, time on your hands, and a hankering for some hot new games. You'd probably want to hear about what's new in stores this week.
Like Motorstorm Apocalypse, for example, for real this time. Though this PS3 exclusive racer set in an earthquake-ravaged city was initially due on March 16th, Sony tactfully held off releasing it immediately after the devastating quake in Japan. But now it's set to roll out on March 31st, so there you go.
Or WWE All-Stars, which is out from April 1st for PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, plus the PSP and PS2. This is the over-the-top arcadey WWE wrestling/fighting game. In contrast to the sim-like SmackDown vs. Raw, WWE history buffs will appreciate Fantasy Mode, in which wrestling legends of yore, like Steve Austin, face off against upstarts like CM Punk.
Or, for even more racing, Shift 2 Unleashed. The UK-developed Shift has become the racing sim face of the Need for Speed franchise, promising an uber-realistic ride as well as the autolog-enabled one-upmanship kicked off in last year's Need for Speed Hot Pursuit.
Then there's the Third Birthday, out for PSP, also from April 1st. This portable third-person shooter is the follow-up at last to 1999 survival horror Parasite Eve 2 on the PlayStation. Also, the dishwasher Vampire Smile hits the Xbox Live Marketplace on April 6th. This is a slice of stylish side-scrolling action sequel to the 2009 XBLA title The Dishwasher Dead Samurai. It'll also be the first XBLA game with stereoscopic 3D support for you early adopters with your fancy pants 3D TVs. Want to do some feedback?
Yeah, I want to do some feedback.
Let's do some feedback.
All right, time for some feedback. On the Start Select homepage, Kamikaze Pygmy says, of the BAFTA Awards in our last show, if Peter Molyneux says receiving the BAFTA Fellowship was amazing and incredible, are we to assume from past experience that it was, in fact, rather mediocre? Oh snap.
Nicely done. Another 110 has this to say on Need for Speed Shift 1 and 2 following the last show's studio tour. I really didn't like Shift 1 because I found its physics too arcadey, but Shift 2 is looking like a great improvement with some cool innovations such as the helmet cam. It's good to see they're trying to move the genre forward instead of just making another game.
Just another game.
Another game.
In a similar vein, but with more menswear advice, here's Mr. Teabags, who says, Need for Speed Shift was rubbish. It felt like the cars were on rails. And Guy, pink's not your colour and you're getting too old to wear a hoodie. Try cords and a shirt combo.
He's not going to like that, is he?
Ouch, yeah, duly noted.
Meanwhile, over at facebook.com/GameSpotUK, you've been contemplating that little extra time Duke Nukem Forever is going to need before busting out of its 13-year-old development cocoon like a shimmering butterfly of an FPS.
In response to the video in which executive producer Randy Pitchford learns his game's coming out a month later than previously announced, that's on June 10th, Ed Prancing Rowland writes, that is a brilliant way of informing us it is delayed. My faith in Gearbox is still there, unless Duke curses them 13 years delay again and Gearbox goes under. And then there's Abdul Hussein, who says what we're all thinking, but just too afraid to say. More like Duke Nukem never. Ha, good Zing. One. Remember to send your comments our way via Twitter, twitter.com/GameSpotUK, Facebook, facebook.com/GameSpotUK, and the official Start Select page, that's gamespot.com/StartSelect. Last time around, we had an Xbox 360 console bundled with painty platformer to Blob 2 to give away. To win, you had to tell us what the letters CMYK stand for in the CMYK colour model. The answer was cyan, magenta, yellow, and key, which is black. And the winner is Tom Wallace from Winchester. Congratulations, Tom. This week, we've got 5 pairs of tickets to a very special BAFTA event next Friday, the 8th of April, with a Connect for the first winner drawn. Res creator Tetsuya Mizuguchi will be talking to our own Guy Cocker at BAFTA headquarters in London and showing off his upcoming game, the trippy, kaleidoscopic, Connect-compatible Child of Eden. To win a pair of tickets and maybe a Connect, tell us what was the name of the pulsing PS2 peripheral that came with certain versions of Res. Answers to competitions at gamespot.co.uk as ever, along with your postal address, please. And that's it for now. Tune in next time for our revamped New Look show. We're looking at a dark and gritty reboot for these troubled times, or, you know, possibly a new logo and theme tune. Either way, though, you'll have to watch to find out. Until then, send us your comments, questions and suggestions over on Twitter, that's at GameSpotUK, or on Facebook, which is facebook.com/GameSpotUK. See you next time and happy gaming.